And somebody's legs were shaking. I'm not sure.
A little easier to put shiver in the call when you're really cold.
Welcome to this week's Archer's Choice.
Moose Mania at its best. Bow hunting moose on a budget, like we told you last week, up at Kashabowie Outpost with Fern, Scotty, Jess,
and Fern.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy.
It is, and lucky logo this week is Plano.
Plano, the ultimate to keep your equipment protected all the time.
So look for the Plano logo. I love saying that. At the end of the show, we'll tell you what to do with that. Okay, so next, let's just get going. Plano logo. It just sounds funny. Okay, anyways, so we're gonna get up first. Fern's up first. He is gonna go out. He wants to fill the freezer with moose meat. And do you know why he wants to fill the freezer with moose meat?
Because moose meat is the best out there.
In fact, we need to go back up there so we can fill our freezer up with more moose meat.
Well, we normally do in the Yukon, and then we...
No, I know, but it's expensive to get back from the Yukon.
Yeah, it's really expensive.
It's a lot cheaper to get it up and out there. Let's go join Fern, shall we?
Yes.
Maybe we could talk to Fern. Fern can give us some.
Kashabowie Outpost is fairly close for people to get to. So some people will fly in, but most people drive in. We're about a 2-hour drive from the border and also about a 4 or 5 hour drive from Duluth right to our base. And then we fly out from there to different camps, anywhere from a 15-minute flight to a full hour. So we're on a dozen different lakes that we use for fishing and hunting. They've all got real good moose populations around them. Our hunts can be unguided. A lot of people have the experience or want to do it on their own. And we also have really good guides available that people choose to take along. You got to be ready to be able to lift some pretty heavy loads. If you don't think you can do it yourselves, you might want to have a guide as big as myself that can. The part I find most challenging with working with a film crew is trying to have all the right equipment. You have to have the right clothing. I sure can't wait till Scott Wolf gets here with my new Rocky camouflage clothing. I'm cold. It's a little easier to put shiver in the call when you're really cold. The weather's a little bit better. It was raining a lot and really windy. It's still quite windy, but it should calm down enough to get some calling in. So we're going to get a moose.
Decent size, huh?
That's what we're looking for. Maybe a bit smaller. Most often when I'm out here, I'm with the posse and they're doing the hunting and I'm doing the guiding and the calling. This time we changed things up a little bit and I'm doing the hunting and hoping that Scott can get some good footage and film me shooting a moose. The little bull that we saw the first morning out, it was a nice one, and that's the kind of moose I'm looking for. I really have fun shooting them, but it's also really good meat. The big one's good too, but the little ones are always good. And I've got a busy schedule in front of me with guiding. I thought if I can get it done, get mine in the freezer, it'll take some of the pressure off. I'm kind of hoping that I can get the little one. If not, I'll be okay with the big guy too. There's one coming in. He's real close. I can hear him cracking, but he's not grunting. So I think he's probably a young bull. But that's what I'm after. Here he comes. Young bull. A year and a half. That's what it's about. He's a little one, but that's what I was after. Makes it fun when you really want to set your mind for one, and that's what you get. Yes, this is my preference to get one of these. I couldn't be happier than this. I know a lot of people watching might be thinking that, why'd he shoot a little one? But I'll tell you what, when they're on your plate, you'll know it. Wow. How many yards was that?
I don't know, close.
Yeah. There he is. There's my bull. Yeah! We didn't come out this morning anywhere because it was really, really windy and raining. But the weather report forecast looked really good for this evening. We did our first call about 5:45, I think it was. And this guy didn't answer. He just sneaked in. I heard a few grunts from him. Went fairly wide. He came out from over there, went wide around the bog into the corner of it, and he took about 10 minutes to come from that corner to us. Got a pretty close shot at it, and here it is. This is it.
Way to go, buddy. That's awesome.
He always seems to be able to get his
Oh,
goal,
yeah.
doesn't he? He always feels
He
that
lives
way,
up
so-
there.
He does. This
Yeah.
is true. This is true.
So-
Now we're going to join Jess and Scotty.
And the guys they're actually, it's almost a combination hunt because you get great moose hunting, but you also do some fishing.
too, so this is pretty cool. Let's get going, shall we?
Yeah, let's not waste any time.
So we finally arrived at Kashabowie Outpost. They have moose hanging on the rack from guys that were successful the week before we got there. We got in, we met with Fern, he went over regulations, took care of our licensing, and we loaded up the float plane and we were off. It was a pretty short flight to camp, but on the way we saw 4 or 5 different moose, and it even rose our enthusiasm up even more. We couldn't wait to get into camp, and the cabins are immaculate. We can take a shower, we can cook, we have everything that we need. The best part is you get to fish, you got great walleye, pike, smallmouth bass fishing here.
A typical day in moose camp starts with getting up early to do some moose hunting,
get back to camp, have a little breakfast, do some fishing, great fishing, walleye, northern, smallmouth, little lunch, maybe a little nap, head back out for an afternoon hunt. This country, it's unbelievable. It's quiet, it's peaceful. I want to move here.
That afternoon, Scott and I were going to go all the way to the other end of the lake. We were going to try a spot down in there. He happened to be filming a beaver lodge, and I looked to my right, and there was a giant bull standing there with a cow. The bull watched us for several minutes and then eased on up into the bush with the cow.
We're gonna sneak up around this corner. That bull went up into the timber, and we're gonna try to pull him out. We're gonna make a move on him, try to sound like a young bull. See if we can't get him to come down and see what we are.
We got set up right where that bull was at. We didn't see anything during daylight, but when we were going out that night, we're making a little bit of noise getting out, and I said to Scott, "Hey, do you hear that?" And all of a sudden, we could hear a bull right where we were sitting that night, just thrashing and grunting and cracking the brush. It was pretty neat to sit there in the dark and listen to a bull just thrash trees. It was awesome.
Last time I saw a steak like that was on the opener for the Flintstones. Then they hang one of these on the side of a car. We're having hindquarters for supper.
Morning of day 3. Perfect moose weather. It's calm. We actually heard what we think is the moose from last night right in here from our cabin. We got a perfect little setup in here. We're gonna get set up for the morning hunt and see if we can't get him to come in.
Scott was doing a little calling, and all of a sudden we heard some cracking and some grunting, and all of a sudden he pops out, and I'm like, "Hey, my first bull from sitting in a blind." I mean, I'm seeing my first bull. He would come, and then he would turn around and go back, and we'd call, and he'd look, and then he'd come, and he just wasn't seeing a decoy. And it dawned on Scott and I that I think that night we're going to come right back to the same spot, but we're going to set up the decoy. That evening, we set up the decoy right on the bank along that thick timber that our backs are up against.
We're back in the same spot. We got a perfect wind. If the wind dies down just a hair, we're gonna start calling. If this morning we'd had a decoy, we think we'd have pulled that bull all the way in, but hopefully everything works out. We can call a bull off that hill and come out right past us.
It was actually an uneventful evening for most of the night, and then the last 30, 40 minutes, we heard a bull way up on the hill grunt once. We hear a crack and nothing for a long time, and the next thing we hear, this bull is getting close, and he's coming through the timber right out into the meadow. So this bull's coming, and he gets to my first shooting lane, and I didn't think I could shoot him there because he'd be quartering towards. Now he's walking to my second, and I'm just following him. So this bull's coming, and he gets to my first shooting lane, and I didn't think I could shoot him there because he'd be quartering towards. And now he's walking to my second. I'm just following him, and he ends up at 6.5 yards, quartering towards me, and I didn't want to take that shot. And he finally took one more step, and he opened himself up, and that's when I let the arrow go, and that was an awesome feeling. So the bull runs off about 15 yards, stops, standing there. He doesn't know what happened. He absolutely does not know what happened. He's still looking at the decoy. He turns back and walks right back out in front of us. Goes kind of to where he came from, stops, and he starts to stagger.
He's gonna go down. He's going down. He's going down, dude.
That bull ends up turning around, coming right back at us in the brush, and he crashed 10 yards from where we were standing. That was the most unbelievable hunt I've ever been on.
Oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. My bull is down 10 yards from us. We were sitting here all night, haven't heard a thing, and all of a sudden we heard some brush breaking behind us. And he came out. He read the script, he saw the decoy, and he come walking right to us. Man, oh man, this guy, we did it. We've seen 4 bulls in 3 nights out, and I just got my first bull. Oh. Dude, that's awesome. Oh, is that cool or what, dude? We would like to take this time now to thank our guide. Yeah, Scott. World class. It's getting dark quick, so Scotty popped the light on the camera. We're gonna go take a look at my bull. Oh, look at that, Scott. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. I tell you what. Look at that. First bull moose with a bow. First bull moose. I got to shoot it with my Hoyt at 8 yards. You know, we set up a plan tonight. We were in the same spot this morning and we couldn't get the bull to quite commit. We set a decoy over here tonight, hoping that they'd come from the same way if a bull came. And he did. He come crashing. He actually came really fast. Stepped out, saw the decoy, and he turned and he walked right in front of us. This has been an amazing trip. Thanks, buddy. I gotta thank Scotty, Fern Duquette for having us up. Thank Ralph and Vic for the opportunity to do what we do, and my wife for letting me come. I'm blessed. Luckiest guy on earth right now.
You know, one of the coolest things about this hunt was we had a guide in camp. He basically went with the other 2 guys that were in camp, and Scott and I were kind of doing our own thing. And to be able to pull it off on our own, it was a special hunt with a special friend, and I'll never forget it as long as I live.
Wow, you talk about what an incredible hunt for everybody.
The weather was perfect.
Everything. The moose
awesome.
They were in mania
Fish
action.
were biting, the moose were moving. I mean, they had great time. Jess, Rick, Fern, all of you guys, congratulations. Scott, thanks for filming up there. That was awesome.
You rock, buddy.
That's right. Hey, if you happen to see the plain old logo.
Wow, plain old. Keeps your gear protected all the time, no matter where you go.
It's my turn. You need to log on to archerschoice.com, click on the lucky logo button, fill out some information, and someone's gonna win a plain old logoed bow case. I just want to say plain old logo. And a whole bunch of other stuff from our manufacturers.
She's so simple.
That's why I married him. Hey, next week's show, Powder River Outfitters. We're gonna go up there.
Yeah, Montana.
They're heading up there, Montana. Whitetails,
That was a
early
slam.
season. He's a little slow and simple. We'll see you next week, same channel, right here
Same time.
on the
She
Archer's
screwed up.
Choice.